I spent 300 days in Factorio and here's what happened. Can I survive crash landed alone on a rail world against aliens? Every Factorio ending starts with a new one. We crash land and I quickly chop down stone and get the burners up. I have played this since 2016, but I love Neil Lause's 100 by 100 city block, so I'll be using that. Early game is just manually collecting items for power and eventually research though. I started placing ghost blueprints of labs and factories. 16 drills and furnaces will quickly start up this base. It went by so quick in fact that I already started building up steam power. Of course, the first line of belts will be hooked up from coal to boilers. I connect the power grid to electric drills and the lab researching automation will be complete. I like to queue up logistics next and everything needed for the starter base. For now I have to manually insert resources into a crate, but that will be gone soon. With the starter base going up, I don't need burner drills that much. I am on rail world, so eventually I will travel far for resources. All the electric drills are up and so is the starter base. It can produce everything needed for the main base, but I would soon remember that all this pollution will lead to disaster. Oh well, maybe in the year 2100. For now, I'm placing down stone tiles to outline a very symmetrical square base. Without power armor, running on dirt is inefficient. Well, between the grids, large power poles and lights are placed, and after that I construct iron smelting for green circuits. 4 lanes of iron and 2 lanes of steel is sufficient for now. I used to go for 8 lanes of iron, but placing that without robots leads to carpal tunnel. I do the same thing, but only 4 lanes of copper. All of this will be supplied with the starter resources for now. As you can see, I put 4x4 balancers on that, and now I can progress on electric circuits, which are essential for everything in this game. Lining up the inputs and watching the factory contraption go to work is the most enjoyable activity. 2 lanes of steel and copper will work for now. I think 2 belts of green circuits is too low, but we need more furnaces for that, which means clicking thousands of times. Yeah, I'll just wait for bots. Of course, I just focus on building and a bunch of insects come along. For now I can pistol them, but as I was rebuilding and building some more floors, more of them come. I pull up blueprints for the mall and focus on constructing it. I needed a lot of factories, but the alerts of the horde triggered me. I go over there and place some turrets down. As I was building along, I ran out of blocks, so I decided to go hunt down the aliens. Back at home, I constructed a mall and hooked up all the resources to the appropriate belt. I finish it all and tidy it up nicely, and I like where we are at now. But to the west of the mall I will need military science, so let's just make that a science area. Fortunately we don't have to worry about power for now since coal is abundant. Military science and everything else will be here. This means I don't need my starter base, but I will keep it up for now. I move all my research along this area, and with all the research I did while building this main base, I can start on crude oil, which came from dinosaurs and plants way back in the millions of years ago. After hooking it all up, I start producing and storing petroleum, which is a key ingredient for plastics, which are used for red circuits. So I work on that and sulfur for batteries and sulfuric acid. After it is all up, I hook up the ingredients and watch it rain plastics. The next step is red circuits, which I hastily construct. This required a lot of copper, and with only 4 lanes, things are getting tight. Nevertheless, blue science is placed for progressing the game. I only wanted it because of robots. Up north, a bunch of biters pass by, so I pass by and greet their home as well. Back in base, blue science is in progress and I hook everything up. With this, I notice that resources are getting scarce, so I upgraded stone furnaces to steel furnaces, which doubles the time to smelt but keeps coal usage the same. Then the robotic center is planned. With this, I need lube, which I also use at home, for cleaning. I expand them all to include roboports and everything for our mechanoids. It is all up and working now, so I place down roboports and also craft power armor and let the first bots do some work on more efficient oil refining. But it is finally time for trains since iron is getting low. I construct it and look for biters to kill. I saw some iron east of us, so I planned out the train track. It was millions of iron and copper ore, but for now iron is all I need. Building the train track is a top priority, and I finished lining up the outpost and train into smelter. But I would quickly realize just how many biters were around here. The worst part is I had no more power and coal was running out. In the midst of it all, the outpost had shut down and defending it was getting hard. The plan is to build batteries and solar panels. With the batteries, I can also make laser turrets. For now, I will just place solar panels down here. I also noticed a 1 tile gap for the inserter, so I had to replace the whole thing. I had laser turrets at the outpost, and at first it was doing alright. But as I was rebuilding it, a bunch more biters come and I quickly noticed that just a few laser turrets wouldn't do it. For now, I couldn't go back and forth constantly. I needed to deal with the core threat immediately, so I made explosive shells in a tank. Before I go, I expand on iron and steel. I needed to clear this whole area out, so I bulk up the tank and started tanking. The outpost was almost destroyed, but threats came from the west as well, so I had to travel back to kill it. At the outpost, this laser contraption will be a long-term solution. I also hook up automatic fueling to the trains with coal. Power was doing alright, and I noticed a copper patch north of our base. It was very close by, so I don't use trains and utilize belts for this. After I have enough copper, blue circuits will be placed in the same area as the red circuits. Much of the starter base will be removed now as it serves zero purpose, and green circuits has to expand for blue circuits. I didn't pay much attention to the west biters, but they need to die. Sulfuric acid with blue circuits, and I link up copper ore as I expand the copper smelter to 8 belts. The whole starter base is getting mauled by bots and it will be replaced by a train station with coal, so I build the outpost, which is a bit northeast of our base. There is so much coal here, I think I'll use some of it for coal liquefaction. And I build the 4 wagon trains as, well, it all works wonderfully up here. South of our base is a stone patch, so I quickly work on train station for that. Just a simple little base for that. I build the stone smelter where the train will drop off and hook up lube to yellow science, which is next on the list. All the ingredients are quite expensive and will need a lot of resources for low density structures. Turtles hate getting stuck on that. I linked it up to yellow science, but it will also be needed for the rocket. Next to our iron smelter, I build another train station and smelter since more iron is required. I expand upon red circuits and work on the iron belt north of our base. With all of our progress, I can finally move fast with power armor. Now I need to construct purple science, which is a no-brainer, and hook that up to the science station. I need even more red circuits, and I finally work on modules to speed up the game. Speed and productivity modules are great, and coal liquefaction will be constructed. I have biter expansion on, so biters are back. This was the final straw for me. I build a defense train which will filter in all the necessary components for a compound around the base. I first work on the north wall and it is up. I hook up the oil to the flamethrower turrets. Let's test it out. I wanted to build beacons everywhere, but they take up so much power, I need to use Thanos' green rock to reverse it. I work on the east wall and it is quite hectic, but eventually it is constructed by thousands of bots. With flamethrower turrets, almost nothing gets past. Then I connect some shortcuts on the rail network. This intersection looks cool. I will need more red circuits, so beacons it is. West of our base, I build trains and clear out the biters for the western wall to be built. Back at home, I build another copper smelter, so we have 16 lanes of copper. I insert modules to everything as I work on the copper outpost. It is quickly constructed, and once it is up, our base is thriving. Most of it will go towards electric circuits. Then, near the western wall lies more iron, so I use that to make a steel smelter right there to save up space at home. It is built, but I also use iron ore trains since the ore patch wasn't enough. Back at home, I work on uranium and connect sulfuric acid. Then I construct uranium refining and all the weaponry. Right below that, I will have the rocket silo and rocket part next to it. More green circuits are required and it is constructed. I make a Spidertron and test it out south of the base. I connected landfills so we could expand and build train tracks. There was a lot of iron down here, so I construct the iron outpost, and once it is up, I build the trains and replace stone smelters with electric smelters. Our defenses now have uranium bullets and artillery fire non-stop. All the rocket parts are in order, and I wanted a nuclear facility near shore, so I work on that. I placed the rocket silo and worked further on uranium. But I missed out on the first rocket launch. I finish up the nuclear power and it is up. Now let's see the real ship launch. It took 38 hours, but it was fun. Thanks to my patrons and members, and if you're bored, then watch this video next.